welcome to the show, Outlier Show. Your host Rizwan Rashid is here tonight with an amazing coach who is going to really blow your mind, especially the professionals out there, especially the immigrant people out there in North America, because tonight has a plethora of information for you to understand how to really get into the job market. Yes, I know you've been asking for this, that job interviews like first date, as a good impression counts, awkwardness can occur, outcomes are unpredictable. For all that reason, we're bringing in somebody very special. And I love his one line. It says, "Congratulations, you're hired." Aren't you wanting to look at that, hear this mantra right off the back? Exactly right. Because his slogan is, "Congratulations, you're hired," and he's nobody else, but he's the CEO of the Celebrate Group. And off camera, I've been asking him how many people would have gone through your hands in order to get the job they really deserve in this unemployment and underemployment world of North America. And he said, I haven't counted much, but the one I have, the figures, is over 11,000 people. Yes, and 11,000 people, if you go in the website, you will be able to see so many testimonials over there. For that reason, I'm not going to wait anymore, so I'm going to invite my guest tonight, Josef Stetter, CEO of the Celebrate Group. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Rizwan, thank you very much. I am so honored to have the opportunity to share some wisdom and be on your show. I follow you, and honestly, it's a great show. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. We've been in touch for quite some time, and we've been chatting about it because your expertise is much needed out there, especially when we'll talk about some of from the COVID-19 aspect of it, from the immigrant aspect of it, and all that. But let me start from you. What was the first opportunity that changed your trajectory from your professional being into the job, becoming the person who's going to get other people job? Let's share with the audience where Joe came from.
So there's three things that affected me being where I am today. The first one was that I did not know what I want to do when I grow up. So because my parents are very typical immigrant parents, you have to have a good job, you have to have a good job, you have to have a good job. I kind of switched careers 9 times and jobs 18 times myself, trying to understand what it is that I'm passionate about, what I want to do. Then I got into recruiting, and I've recruited for companies like Deloitte & Touche, Tata Consulting Services, Apotex Pharmaceuticals, Aecon Construction, IBM, and many more. And somewhere along the lines, I kind of went, you know what? There's so many people that are struggling just to learn how to get the job that I decided to write one of these books called Canada, Congratulations, You're Hired. It was easier than you thought. And there's an American version called USA, Congratulations, You're Hired. It was easier than you thought. And in the process, I started working with government agencies because unfortunately, a lot of the, career coaches or career counselors that they have in immigration centers, welcoming centers, have very, very basic and limited knowledge of job finding. And in the process, as you mentioned, I had the honor and the pleasure of helping 11,000 people find employment. The fastest I've ever found employment for people is 2 days. And on average, most of the people that I've helped find employment in 90% of them find employment in under 3 months. Many of them have been new immigrants with zero Canadian experience as well.
Under 3 months without any experience. That is point to be noted, folks. If you are listening and now Joe already attracted you and got your attention, so here's more to learn from him. So Joe, you jump into this, and you've been doing this for a lot. When do you saw there is an opportunity? When do you see that this is happening around you, around the world? Back in the days when you started seeing, okay, this is what I need to help people with.
I think it actually happened officially around 2006, 2007. I was kind of working in private colleges, and I was actually disgusted by how bad the career services were in the private colleges that I was working for, that I went, why is nobody helping and nobody doing this? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in self-development and learning and growing. And so every time I did a course, I would stop and go, this can apply to job finding, but no one's actually made that connection. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, the more I learn, the more resources I have to help people. And my hope is to help as many people as possible. There, you know, thanks to COVID, or unfortunately because of COVID, it is estimated that 60 to 65 million people between Canada and the United States lost their job. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are unfortunately wasting time looking for jobs in the wrong places.
That's that is so incredible to see and hear from a career coach because you are seeing it firsthand. Now, I wanted you to run back on your memory lane and find out who was that first person you really thought, okay, this person needs the help, this person who has deserved the most, or the most recent one. What story you have to share with our audience tonight? Who you helped recently or in the past?
So I'm going to go with more recently because I think I started doing this a little bit at a time just because I love helping people. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize how good I was at it until all of a sudden, people started calling me saying, I heard about you. Can you help me? Can you help me? And then I went, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. But more recently, let's say during COVID in the past 3 months, I've had about 14 clients, five of them new immigrants with zero Canadian experience that just arrived to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, all 14 have been employed in under 2 months, including the five new immigrants,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
not only employed, but employed in their field. So I helped one guy get hired as an accountant with no Canadian experience, one guy
Mm-hmm.
get hired as a data analyst with no Canadian experience, one guy in IT with no Canadian experience, one guy in social media with no Canadian experience, and another guy in like directorship for data analysis or data science, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I've created a system that guarantees results because you cannot fail as long as you do a little bit of work yourself.
Cool, cool. So this is amazing. Now, folks, if you are listening, you actually understand that part of there where the Canadian experience or the North American experience has to count, and that's how you're getting job. And Joe is telling, no, it can be done without that experience and without opening up those horizons. So, if I ask you, when you started this working out with helping people, coaching them in terms of resume, interview building, at that time you knew this will be your life-changing opportunity. This is where a problem and you had a solution, because for entrepreneurs who is listening to us, because this is the crucial point where you find a solution where what there's a problem in it, and that becomes your business.
So again, I have two businesses because I do the career coaching or career consulting, and I also do recruiting and headhunting. And so
Uh-huh.
I've invested about 25,000 hours mastering the psychology of everything to know with job finding. And what
Uh-huh.
I've realized is that most people that want to work, let's say, don't know how to write a resume, don't know how to interview, even though they think they know, there's certain tricks, there's certain tools that nobody really ever talks about. And what I realized is what I need to do is stop trying to kind of convince everybody what they already know. Because,
Uh-huh.
everybody's learned how to write a resume, everybody has had an interview or two. But what I focus is on, here's the things that nobody told you. Here's the reason why no one's calling you right now with your current resume. Here's the reasons why you're failing at networking. Here's the reason why, let's say, nobody's looking at your LinkedIn profile. Here's the reasons why, let's say, you think you had a good interview, but you didn't give me the information I needed. This is what's making that. And this is the separator for me versus everybody else, where I'm not trying to kind of go, okay, you should dress up for the interview. You should, you shouldn't smoke before they, like, because there's enough books, there's enough materials about that. I kind of say, these are the mistakes that you're making,
Mm-hmm.
because if no one's hiring you, you're making these mistakes. And here's why you need to avoid them. And then I start
Mm-hmm.
talking to them about their own experiences, their own, frustrations. Like, you've gone on interviews, no one's hired you. Do you think you're good at what you do? Yes. So why is it that you don't have a job for a year? It's because you're making these mistakes and no one's told you that. And I've kind of niched out a market where I'm saying, look, you know what? There's 65 million people in North America that need help finding employment. There are plenty of new immigrants that are trying to get a better life and kind of come to a new country like Canada or United States and get the opportunity based on their education, based on their background. If they don't know how to present it correctly, they get lost in the shuffle. And so what I focus on is honing in how you brand yourself, how you look at things in a way that it's not the same way that everybody else does, but it's customized to you, even though it's a system that I've created.
That is a crucial point, because the system creation is going to work for them. If I may ask, for the benefit of the people who actually got their services done and acquired the job and everything, for you, how many new doors open up for you while getting into, from recruiter to a career coach, from resume writing, for helping people to understand how to present themselves? And more doors open for you?
In fact, more doors than ever, because I'm starting to form alliances and partnerships with experts that have similar expertise. Like, for example, companies that have created personality assessments and have AI built into the personality assessment, because I've distinguished myself from everybody else, where I kind of come and say, I know this and I can help you with this. There is a level of, can we partner up? Because if you're going into companies and helping them, let's say, create a corporate culture, we can help you create the corporate culture, because we can do the personality assessment that gives you information on what to set up. And so there is a lot of strategic alliances and strategic partnerships that are forming right now, or already have been formed. And because I've been a generalist, let's say, in recruiting, I've had the opportunity to learn about multiple industries and how they operate, and kind of what's needed to be successful in those industries, whether you want to take the path of growing in a company or eventually want to be an entrepreneur. Just because you have a skill set doesn't necessarily mean makes you an entrepreneur. So, if you're an engineer as a background, and you might be a brilliant engineer, you might be a great leader, but that doesn't automatically translate into being a business owner and knowing how to take care of people. And so I kind of combine and say, look, if you have, as you kind of said earlier, Rizwan, an idea that solves a problem, makes it faster, better, more efficient as an entrepreneur, and you need to hire a team around you, do you know how to interview them correctly? Do you know how to screen out people that will work well with you, that will complement your personality style, in order to make sure that you're not hiring the wrong people? Because statistics say that when a company has one position open, it costs them on average $100,000 a month to have that position open. And if they hire the wrong person and they have to let them go, now there's a bigger gap, because now they have to re-interview, retrain. So they're losing even more money for it. And so it's a combination of, here's what the job seeker is experiencing, here's what the company is needing. And very few people have made those two connections.
Beautiful, beautiful. Folks, you already understand the plethora of information given by Joe, who is a career coach, recruiter, and a trainer, in order for you to find your career job, for your ideal, your dream job. Because his saying is, stop being a cookie cutter job seeker, be different. This is how he preached. You are watching Outliers show. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to give you how you can connect with Joe and what is Joe is up to in the near future. With 2020 is closing down and 2021 coming up, new year, new ideas, new challenges, and here's the career coach who's going to help you step into the new year with a new vision. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Outlier Show. Your host Rizwan Rashid and my guest Joe Stetter. Joe Stetter, CEO of the Celebrate Group. It's a recruiter, career coach, and a trainer how to find your dream job. And tonight, he shared already his life trajectory, how he came to this conclusion, helping other people. But now, I'm going to ask you how you are going to get in touch with him and be able to find your dream job, because 2021 is right next door, right next after the holidays, and we want to see how you can get this. So Joe, I want to ask you this. What was the most interesting or great success story you had seeking an employment for your client?
Well, I'm going to start with a personal story. So my brother was finishing his third year mechanical engineering degree and applied for an internship. By the time one of the companies responded to him, he already registered for his fourth year classes. And when he looked at the job description, it was going to be more of a paper pusher kind of job, not a pure engineering job. So he asked me to cancel the interview. I decided to go in as my brother. I studied economics and business. The only thing I know about mechanical engineering is what I wrote for him on his resume. Now, my first interview, there was 100 students there from 4 major universities, Queens, U of T, Waterloo, Ryerson. Within 45 minutes, human resource called me back, said, "We love you. We need to come back for a second interview." I was like, all right, let's see how far I can take this. My second interview was with the manager of the department that theoretically I would work with. Now, I spoke the truth about my brother's resume. So my brother was in a team that designed a wheelchair for third world nations that use a tank chain so it can go on any terrain. Came second in Ontario for the best mechanical engineering project of the year, won $500 from RBC. Told the manager I studied thermodynamics and quantum physics. To this day, I have no idea what those are. Didn't even leave the parking lot. Manager called me back, said, "I adore you. I need to come back for a third and final interview." I was like, okay. Out of 100 candidates, I made it to the final 3. I was the first one in at 8:30 in the morning. Manager walked over to me and goes, "Here's your offer letter. The job's yours. All you have to do is pass this mechanical engineering test." I looked at him. I looked at the test. I looked at him. I looked at the test. I'm like, I can't do this test. Manager looked at me and goes, "I know you're nervous. Let me help you." He solved the first 2 questions for me.
Oh my God.
I looked at him. I said, "I am so sorry for wasting your time. I guess I'm a lot more comfortable with the design than I am with the calculation. I am not the right candidate for this job. Thank you for the opportunity." Manager followed me to the car and begged me to take the job because I'd interviewed that much better than every other mechanical engineer. Right now, on another similar success story, because
But
I also
wait,
help
Joe.
immigrants.
Wait, Joe. Folks, if you follow along, you understand this. Joe is not a mechanical engineer. Joe doesn't know anything about it, but he knows how to do the interview. So the lesson you are learning is he knows this inside and out, and he actually secured a job of a mechanical engineer at a higher level with a recruiter or the manager is right, like begging him to get it there.
This was with the company directly, not with the recruiter. I've spent 25,000 hours mastering how to get a job.
How do you put your clients who's coming to seeking your advice in terms of counseling, recruitment, or resume building? How do you put them into front of more opportunities? Let them open up and get that out of their comfort zone, especially for the immigrant people who are very scared of different culture, different country, different languages.
So again, first I think before I even hire somebody hires me as a client, I give them free advice. So for example, what I call the 5 cardinal sins of a resume, right? So number 1, if you're using Times New Roman, Arial, or Calibri as a font, everybody in North America uses this font. So you look exactly the same as everybody else, right? And if you remember, I don't know, in the 90s, there was a movie called Legally Blonde. When Elle Woods applies for Harvard and applies to be an intern, she gives a pink scented resume. And everyone goes, "It's pink." But they remembered her, right? So you want to have a little bit of personality on your resume. So number 2, cardinal sin is that you use the black dots, the squares, the arrows, or the hyphens as your bullet points. Number 3, you have area kind of career history, where you say, "I have 10 years of experience. I'm hardworking, dedicated, committed team player. In 20 years of recruiting, I've met very few people that say, listen, I'm lazy. I'll show up late. None of my work will be any good. And I really hate people. Please hire me. Right? Not unless you're related to them or having an affair with them that you can get away with that. Right? Now,
Good.
right?
This
And
is true thing. I mean, this is a real deal, guys.
right. And then rule number 4 basically is, like, most people write a chronological or functional resume. If, let's say, a new immigrant right now is working part-time, let's say at Tim Hortons, just to pay some bills, if that's the first thing that I see on the resume, I don't trust you as, let's say, an accountant. I don't trust you as an IT guy because you're working at Tim Hortons. So don't put it first on your resume. And then the biggest mistake of all, and drives, like, I call it common sense, but clearly it's not, is that people list their duties and responsibilities. So I always give this example where people laugh, but this is what people actually do. If someone's applying to be a receptionist somewhere and they tell me that they know how to answer the phone, I, as a potential employer, should look at them in shock and go, really? A receptionist that knows how to answer the phone? We did not know that.
Yeah.
Because unless they live in an igloo, a cave, or a Mennonite, chances are they know how to press the green button and go, hello, how can I help you?
Yeah.
But
true.
if somebody worked abroad, let's say, or studied to be a receptionist and has experience answering 60 calls a day with 12 different lines, I can measure 60 calls a day with 12 different lines. I cannot measure I know how to do something. So if, let's say, a new immigrant comes and says, I know how to do accounting, I know how to do financial statements, I turn around to them and say, have you met one accountant that does not know how to do financial statements?
Yeah.
And they go, no, everyone. Okay, so don't tell me that you know how to do financial statements. Tell me how good of an accountant you are. What are the results that you produce? How did you make money? How did you save money? How did you increase efficiency? Right? Give me specific. How many files did you handle a day? Most job postings in North America say, don't call us, we'll call you. And most people go, okay, I'll wait to be called. And then they go, there's no jobs. I send out hundreds of resumes. So as an entrepreneur, you understand this, Rizwan. When you want something to happen, you make it happen. So I teach people, even though the job says don't call, you call. And you say, my computer has been crashing. I had internet problems. Can you check if you got my application? Now they go and they pull your application. You went from being at the bottom of the list to the top of the list because they pulled your resume. Now you got them on the phone. You can give them 2 or 3 things that you've done in terms of highlights from your career to emphasize, this is how good I am. This is why you want to consider me for this position. And since you have them on the phone, you can even ask them, when are you going to start interviewing for this position? When they tell you the date, say, if I don't hear from you, let's say, if they tell you they're going to start interviewing in 3 weeks for this position, and you say, if I don't hear from you in 4 weeks, can I call you, Rizwan, back and get some feedback because you're an expert on what I can do to improve my resume? Now, I've asked permission to call you back, right? As an entrepreneur, if you're waiting for your business to succeed and you don't do anything proactive, your business is not going to go anywhere, right? Unless you've automated everything.
Exactly. That's folks, he just gave you like 3 major points. He gave you that don't wait for that not calling. Pull when you call, you pull the resume, and once you pull the resume, what happens? You become on top of the resume for rest of them. And then the second part is highlight what you have. And then when you highlight them, you're going to stick around for that recruiter, HR manager that, oh, I remember that person who called me. And the last one is asking their approval to get a follow-up, because this is where you will need it. You actually get a job or not get a job, but you actually will understand why you didn't get the call. So that is so crucial points for all the new immigrants looking for the job. So now you already got everybody's attention. Now people looking to see, okay, how do I get in touch with Joe? How do I get his services? So Joe, how do the best ways to connect with you?
So I have a Facebook group called Land Your Dream Job. Nice and easy to remember, that people can contact me. My full name is Josef Stetter. They can find me on LinkedIn. The Celebrate groups on LinkedIn, so is on Facebook. They can reach out to me. And I can give them details on the course. Basically, I have a
I want to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this. So your website is celebrategroup.ca. So folks, you can see on the screen right here, celebrategroup.ca. You can connect from here. There's the social media handles either on LinkedIn or Facebook. You'll be able to find him, and the great way to is land your dream job. That's a Facebook group where you're able to connect. Now, I want to quickly ask you about this course. Yes. So I want to ask you quickly about the course and what is in the course, how people can benefit from it.
So as I kind of started the conversation with you, Rizwan, this is a everything you need to know about job finding course. There is no cookie cutter. There's no BS. There's no kind of, upselling you, buy more, buy more. It's all in one. There's 15 templates of resumes and cover letters. There is the psychology of how to write a resume. There's the 7 rules to a interview that guarantees result. There's a psychology explanation of the interview. There is an idea of how to network, where to network, what to say. So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm wearing a purple shirt. Purple is my favorite color. Everywhere I go and I do things, I'm always wearing purple. So if I go to a networking event, Rizwan, and let's say you and I have talked and you've also talked to 20, 30 other people, when I send you an email and say, hey, Rizwan, I'm Joseph. I'm the guy with the purple shirt. We spoke about X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Can we follow up? Now, you might not remember my name, but you remember my purple shirt. I always wear this watch because it's my favorite watch. It's a conversation starter because when people see this watch, they're like, oh, that's a very unusual watch. Yes, because I want you to remember my watch, because that will allow me to follow up with you because I have a trigger with you, right? So the course is designed like salary negotiations in there, a list of the biggest agencies in Canada, the biggest agencies in the US, the different websites that you can apply, because a lot of companies, let's say, go, I've done it in a way that it doesn't matter if you do the system left to right, right to left, middle left right, middle right left. It will work every single time as long as you do the homework. I guarantee results. You cannot fail.
Excellent, excellent. Folks, you got all the information. You got to know how to write a resume, present yourself, and in fact, the helping hand, Joe has a course will walk you through for over 25,000 hours of experience, pouring all the information and knowledge and wisdom for you to gather this and get your dream job. And Joe, I'm going to say this, as you were just mentioning, job finding is easy when you know how to stand out. And that's one of Joe's point is this. At that point, I want to leave you with the audience that 2021 is out there. And with all the COVID-19, you might be looking for new horizons, new aspect, new opportunities, new strength. And Joe is a great point to start with, looking out for new opportunities, especially if you're a professional looking out for a job or looking out for the job which really resonate with you, which really justify your passion and profession. Joe, I declare you as an outlier. You are watching Outlier Show. Thank you so much for all the knowledge and wisdom you share with us, and we will be sharing with all of our audience. And I believe you have the opportunity to scale to the next level. Keep watching Outlier Show. Until next time.